Hello Frieda, this is Caroline and I would like to share with you 3 important emotions I got during the management 50-50. The first emotion is discomfort. During week 5 tutorial class, I acted as the newly graduated accountant and I discovered some of my clients were using the charity channel to gain personal financial advantage through illegal ways. I tried to raise it with my manager. He already knew it, but chose to ignore it, arguing that I had no solid proof to say anything and can make no accusations. Through this experience, I realized that the ethical thinking in real-world business is not as straightforward as I once imagined. Not every manager can practice ethical performance. Even when they want to do the right thing, the real business pressures can push them to ignore it. My manager wasn't necessarily a bad person. He was just prioritizing the business survival over doing what was ethically correct. And I realized that the responsible professionalism requires courage, not just the knowledge of ethics. If I become an employee, I will evaluate my decisions systematically and try my best to defend ethical viewpoints even when organizational pressures make it difficult. Well, let's come to the next emotion, clarity. Frieda introduced 8 main cognitive bias during week 4 tutorial class. Which made me most impressed was the sunk cost bias. The example was about someone forcing themselves to finish a boring movie just because they paid for the ticket. I usually do the same thing, pushing myself to continue something just because I've put in time and effort. The moment came into my mind was during the Chinese college entrance examination. I usually spend a lot of time on the final math problem, writing pages of calculations, even though my method was entirely wrong. I refused to let it go just because I've spent so much time on it. But later, when I looked at the reference, I found that my entire approach was absolutely wrong, and I've wasted all of my time instead of moving on. And this cognitive bias makes us focus on the past investment instead of future value. But I steadily confirm that the responsible professionalism needs the ability to think critically, set aside our emotional attachment, and prioritize the long-term outcomes. So I train myself to realize the sunk cost bias when sunk cost bias appears in my decision, whether in work or study. I will try my best to focus more on future benefits instead of feeling guilty about abandoning past investment. The purpose moment came in week 4, when our group acted as the government. We had to decide whether to prioritize the fast economic growth or protect the local culture and environment, and I felt the weight of the responsibility. And then I realized that ethical decisions in government are never straightforward. Even when you want to do the right thing, different stakeholders and real-world pressures can push you to do the opposite. It motivated me to apply ethical frameworks in future jobs, aiming for policies that can support development and safeguarding ecological and cultural sustainability. Thank you for your listening.